And I always think with organisations like BITC, what they do is they enable us to come together, they enable us to share ideas, they enable us to share learning, and I think that's how we amplify our voices to do greater good. Rather than doing it as individual organisations, we can do lots more together.
And one of the biggest issues, I think, for most corporate leaders is the gap between the promise and the reality, which people can now see. So the first thing I would say to everybody in trying to deal with that is understand that the decision you're now about to make, who you're going to hire, how you're going to do that hiring, is going to be visible to everybody, and it will tell everybody who you really are.
Yeah.
So some of the things we're doing, first of all, going into schools, and we've worked with many schools across the UK. Our Money Minds programme has reached 55,000 children over the last few years. It's fantastic. We're now building out other options, including online options for young adults. We're working with Leeds City Council on cared for young adults and how we can support there. But we're extending into employability. And in Bradford, we've tested out a programme giving people the opportunity to come into the workplace and learn new skills and leave with an AQA. So we're looking to extend that. We're also working with Citizens Advice for people who are struggling. And our programme puts Citizens Advice advisors, who are amazing, in our branches, in half of our branches around the UK. And that service is available not just to our customers, but to anybody in the community who needs some support.
So we've taken away for pretty much every role qualifications. Clearly there are some technical things that we do need there, but we have a significant apprenticeship scheme. We look for different areas from that, so we partner with 10,000 black interns. I have to say we've taken 6 interns this year from that source. 4 are outstanding, and we will take them into technical roles. We've taken people from local communities and who've been displaced from manual activity, and we are retraining them in tech roles, so it's giving them great confidence. We're getting some great sort of loyalty in return from that. But these are people coming in. The other thing we measure is how they are progressing.
Yes.
It's actually pretty easy to get people in. It's much harder to get people to go up, providing confidence, support, and so forth.
And our version of this, so we are trying in a very humble way to be the sort of, in the way in which Timpsons are the sort of employer of choice for people who have been involved in the criminal justice system. We are trying to do our bit with children who are looked after, who are care experienced. I mean, everybody in the room will know there's a very complex and very difficult sort of intersection between, I don't like using the word disadvantage, between sort of under-potentialised, whether that's the kid who leaves school at 16 or school has failed them or they've had all sorts of disruption with their home and education. And in the last year we have hired 20 young people. We have sort of been involved in coaching or skills support for about 100. And it's very rewarding. It's also really complicated. Longer term, it's great for the culture and great for the individuals. In the short term, it does involve, if you call it cost, it does involve more support and more management.
So I'm actually going to pick up that word of collaboration. What struck me today is how I actually think if we each made one connection from here that we followed through and collaborated, then if everybody in this room took one action with one person they've met, we could make a very significant step forward.
I wanted to say, make something happen, and I'll bring that to life with a story. HMRC, not everyone's favourite area, but one of their local offices happens to be based next to an exclusion centre where kids go to when they've been expelled from school. Often, for the back to the intersectionality word, they come from difficult backgrounds, really difficult situations. No love, no support, no role models, really difficult, and they are likely to go into a life of crime. Unbelievably, a couple of tax inspectors from that local office, and I don't know how they did it, found their way into that exclusion centre and started to teach the kids about maths, about professional life, about how to, get up in the morning and get on with their lives. And even more unbelievably, 2 of those kids are now on an apprenticeship scheme to be tax inspectors.
Yeah, fabulous.
If they can do that, so can every single one.
I would say in every organisation, have a think about promoting on potential. So lots of these conversations you add all the actions together, and it's going to take 20 or 25 years until our leadership teams look like the country. So thinking about that intervention where we're promoting on potential and talent to accelerate the leadership of our organisations really looking like today's Britain.
Our Breakfast Club programme and our Fresh Start programme both came about because of seeing is believing visits. So back to the piece about collaboration, I think the seeing is believing visits really help us come together. They help us form actions, and we are much stronger and our voices are amplified if we come together and develop programmes together, and then we truly will make a difference.
Every year, find somebody that you do not really know who is unlike you, gender, race, background, language even, and just sit down and talk to them for an hour about their lives. Because a lot of the time, we literally have no idea what we don't know about other people. And solving the conundrum that you put to us, Ollie, is at least in part understanding what we do not know about other people and what we assume about other people, and what's wrong about what we assume about other people.